5 steps is all it takes to make the big bucks this season. Pick up, blow out, mulch it, bag it, remove it. This is where the money is at. Leaf cleanups in the spring or fall can be a high-paying add-on service if you know how to do it efficiently. We regularly do 10 to 13 cleanup jobs per day, weather permitting, and gross between $3,100 and $4,100 per day. And I want to show you exactly how a day like that comes together. These numbers are based on our spring minimum for cleanups. Fall cleanups are generally about 25% more per property. In this video, I'm going to show you what a real leaf cleanup day can look like, how many jobs we got done, how long they took, what the numbers look like, and how we actually moved through these properties to keep the day efficient. Over one day, we did 13 leaf cleanup jobs in 9 hours. That works out to an average of about 41 minutes per job. The gross revenue for that day was $4,100. After labor, dump fees, and fixed overhead, there was still about $1,900 left in profit. Do that across a week and you're at $9,500. Those are strong numbers. This video is about showing you what these jobs can look like when you've got a system, the right equipment, and a crew that knows how to move. A lot of people underestimate the value to come from a day of leaf cleanups when planned correctly. The money in leaf cleanup comes from having a process. If you're wasting time, don't have a clear process, or you're using the wrong equipment, these jobs can eat up a whole day in your profits. But if you've got a repeatable system and a tight route, you can move through a lot of properties fast. For us, the process is simple. First, we pick up any large branches or debris. Then we blow everything out of the landscape beds and into the lawn. Then we mulch it. Then we bag it. And finally, we remove and empty the bags into the trailer, ready to be dumped later. That's our process. It's about pulling the whole job into a system so the leaves get consolidated, broken down, and removed in the fastest way possible. You might have also noticed we actually have guys mulching at the same time as the others are blowing. That's for efficiency, and it really does speed everything up. By blowing everything out first, we get the leaves where we want them, and it makes it easier to mulch a large quantity efficiently. Remember, we're trying to control the job. That's a big part of moving fast. You want the leaves out from in the beds, from fence lines, out of corners, away from obstacles, and pulled into manageable areas. If you don't do that, you end up going back over the same ground again and again. As I mentioned before, in our process, we mulch as we blow. This is a huge part of how we keep moving. It not only cuts the time of 2 tasks down to 1, but mulching is also crucial because it cuts down the volume fast. If you try to bag every single leaf loose, you're handling way more material than you need to and wasting time. By mulching it down first, you can get a lot more into bags, a lot more into the trailer, and a lot more jobs done before the day is over. Then, once it's mulched down, we bag it. But we actually take this another step further and bag as we go. Now, we're doing 3 tasks at the same time. Instead of using the tarps, we'll use mulching kits attached to our zero-turn mowers that bag up the leaves as you drive over. Then we'll empty those bags into the trailer, ready to be dumped later. That's what we call efficiency. But if you're watching this trying to figure out whether you need some giant specialized machine to do leaf cleanup jobs, you don't. You need a process that works and equipment that helps you move material fast. Because we mulch beforehand, we get a lot into our dump trailers. For this example, we got all 13 jobs into a 14-foot dump trailer with room to spare. That's a big deal because hauling and dumping can quietly eat at your time if you're not paying attention to volume. If you're constantly full, constantly stopping your route to unload and deal with material, you lose time fast. So, a big part of these jobs isn't just how fast you can clean a property. It's how long you can stay in motion before your disposal process starts slowing you down. Now, let's talk about the numbers, because this is where leaf cleanup starts getting interesting. We did 13 jobs in 9 hours. That's about 41 minutes per job on average. Now, obviously, that doesn't mean every single property took exactly 41 minutes. Some took 20 minutes, others took 40 to 60 minutes. That's where we get our average from. The gross revenue for the day was $4,100. Now, remember, gross revenue is not profit. A lot of people hear a big top-line number and think that goes straight into your pocket. It doesn't and shouldn't. If you want to run and grow a successful business, you've still got labor, dump fees, and overhead. And even after that, some of that gross profit needs to be invested back into the business before it lines your pockets. Each day's costs look different, but for this example, the numbers look like this. Labor was $1,600. Dump fees were $100. Other fixed overhead was $500. That puts the total cost for the day at $2,200. So after all that, there was still about $1,900 left in profit. And when you've got a week's worth of cleanup jobs, you're making $9,500 a week. That's why I like showing the real numbers, because it gives context. These jobs aren't just satisfying to watch. They can be very good work when the operation behind them is tight. And one thing I want to point out is this only works if the crew knows the system. The reason you can get through this kind of volume isn't because everybody's just working hard and running around. It's because everybody understands the order of operations. That keeps the job clean and it cuts down on wasted time from people doing things out of sequence. Any cleanup work gets slower when there's confusion. A good leaf cleanup day is not just about effort, it's about flow. So, when we're moving through these jobs, we're not just trying to make the middle of the yard look nice. We're trying to finish the property properly. That's important if you want repeat work, and it's important if you want the customer to feel like the cleanup was worth the money. If you're newer to this kind of work, the big takeaway is that leaf cleanups don't have to be complicated, but it does have to be organized. You don't need to overthink it. You need to build a repeatable system that gets the material under control, reduces the volume, and gets it loaded efficiently. That's what makes the numbers work. If you're doing leaf cleanups or thinking about offering it, don't just look at it like random seasonal work. Look at it like an operation. The cleaner your process is, the better the day goes, and the better the numbers look at the end of it. That's it for this one. I wanted to show you the real flow of the work, the equipment we use, and the actual numbers behind a full day of leaf cleanups. Good luck out there.